Nike, an organization that got her on a bargain basement deal and is telling her, well, we're going to wait to promote you until we're done promoting Asia Wilson.
After all this, you'd think anyone with a shred of self-respect would take that $1 million deal and just toss it back in the organization's face, right? Well, Caitlin Clark just pulled the ultimate power move by doing exactly that, signing a brand new deal with Adidas. And it's not just a rumor floating around. ESPN dropped the bomb, and it's official now. You might be thinking, wait, what, didn't she already have a contract with Nike? Isn't that like illegal or something? Yeah, well, technically. But when you're being treated like the second child or the one there trying to keep out of trouble, you find ways to work around the rules. And guess what Caitlin did? Just that. Now, pretty Nike, go ahead, shed those tears, because Clark didn't just switch sides. She made the smarter move, period.
Nike is obviously the biggest brand in athletic apparel, and Caitlin seemed to be a perfect fit for the brand.
When Caitlin Clark won Rookie of the Year award, Adidas wasn't just watching from the sidelines with a polite golf clap. They were already calculating how many zeros they'd be putting on her next contract when she stood there taking home the award. Adidas didn't see just another rising star. They saw a walking goldmine, a headline maker, a future global ambassador that would have people chanting her name in every country with a basketball hoop. This wasn't about some promising rookie who might fade into obscurity after a couple of good seasons. No, Caitlin Clark is the kind of player who sets the whole game on fire. Ticket sales, soaring jerseys flying off the racks, and fans lining up just to catch a glimpse of her lighting up the court. She's not just playing basketball, she's rewriting the rulebook.
Or she's signing a Nike deal. Now it's 8 figures, so that could be $10 million or $99 million.
Right.
Correct? That's the 8 figures. And she's going to have her own shoe, which to me, I mean, it's genius to be able to sign her up, because think of all of the girls and women out there who loved Caitlin Clark, going to continue to follow her in the WNBA, and they're going to want to have her shoe.
Adidas was not about to let this golden opportunity slip through their fingers. So what did they do? They didn't waste a second. They swooped in, dropped a deal. So if you'd think they were buying a sports franchise and signed her before Nike even knew what hit them, let's talk about Nike for a second. These guys had her signed for a measly $28 million, which in the athlete endorsement world is basically pocket change. And then they went radio silent when she won Rookie of the Year. No promotion, no hype, not even little congrats, Caitlin balloon. It's like they completely forgot they had her on their roster. So Adidas saw their opening and snatched it faster than a buzzer beater at the end of a playoff game.
Some people, including myself, were saying that this might be a little bit too low because of the superstar that she is.
Let's talk numbers, because of course we're all wondering, how much is Adidas putting down to secure Caitlin? Rumor has it this deal somewhere in the neighborhood of $50 million. That's right. 5. Compare that to Nike's measly $28 million offer, and it's like Nike was offering monopoly money. Adidas didn't just beat Nike's offer. They obliterated it, because Adidas, unlike some brands we could name, didn't just see Caitlin as a promising young player. They saw her as the future of the sport, someone who could bring in fans, skyrocket sales, and transform the entire conversation around women's basketball. This isn't just about shoes or apparel. This is about securing a spot in the Cultural Hall of Fame.
The biggest known deal for a women's basketball player.
Caitlin's impact was felt far beyond just the box score. Her rookie year saw attendance records being smashed, people pouring into WNBA arenas and jerseys selling out faster than you could refresh the online store. She wasn't just playing basketball, she was creating a movement. And Adidas, they weren't about to let that revolution pass them by. They wanted Caitlin at the helm of it all. They weren't just looking at her ticket sales or her highlight reels. They were looking at the big picture. Caitlin Clark is a player who's shifting the entire narrative around women's basketball, and Adidas wanted to be the brand that backed her every step of the way.
He struck absolute gold when they signed Caitlin Clark to an 8-year, $28 million endorsement deal. So why in the world Are they ignoring her?
Nike's big play to sign Caitlin Clark back in 2023 for $28 million probably sounded like a baller move at the time, until you realize $28 million is practically lunch money for a player who's out here rewriting WNBA history. Caitlin isn't just another rookie with a decent jumper. She shattered records, turned arenas into packed houses, and had fans glued to their screens waiting to see what she'd pull off next. But what did Nike do? They fumbled hard. That $28 million might have looked shiny, but it wasn't even close to what Caitlin's worth. And when she won Rookie of the Year in 2024, did Nike throw her a massive party? Did they plaster her face on every billboard from coast to coast? Nope. Not even a tweet, nothing. Let that sink in. Nike, the brand that practically invented athlete hype, stayed completely silent when their golden ticket took home the biggest rookie award in the game. Nike has not done one thing to promote her. We have not seen any commercials. We have not seen any ads. We have not seen any Caitlin Clark merchandise, and we for sure as hell have not seen any Caitlin Clark signature shoes. Instead of capitalizing on the most exciting thing to happen to women's sports in years, Nike acted like they'd forgotten they even signed her. Who were they busy promoting instead? Players who couldn't even fill half the seats Caitlin was packing. That's who, meanwhile, Caitlin's out there boosting WNBA viewership by 25%. That's not just a stat, that's a wake-up call. You'd think the folks over at Nike HQ would be throwing money and confetti at Caitlin's feet. But nope, they were busy ignoring the player who was basically turning the WNBA into must-see TV. Nike, an organization that got her on a bargain basement deal, and is telling her, well, we're going to wait to promote you until we're done promoting A'ja Wilson. And she's in the middle of all of these racial discussions that she has nothing to do with, wants nothing to do with, and then they're demonizing her fan. And who exactly were they focused on? Some players who, let's face it, weren't even coming close to Caitlin's impact on the court or off it. She was out there racking up triple doubles and making highlight reels, while Nike was shining the spotlight on athletes like Angel Reese, who couldn't hold a candle to her influence, and average way lower than Caitlin. You don't need to be a marketing genius to see that this was a massive misstep. Caitlin was revolutionizing the game, and Nike was treating it like it was just another Tuesday. The average Angel Reese game is 10,100, 10,200. They come to watch her by the time the WNBA season wrapped up in 2024. It was clear Nike had completely dropped the ball. They had Caitlin Clark, the future of the game, under contract, and they acted like she was an afterthought. And Caitlin's fans, oh, they noticed they were flooding Nike's social media, wondering why their girl wasn't getting the shine she deserved. When you've got a fan base that is loyal, that is loud, you don't sleep on them. But that's exactly what Nike did, giving Adidas the perfect chance to come in and do what Nike should have been doing from the start. Treat Caitlin like the absolute star she is. Caitlin Clark was a marketing major at the University of Iowa's Business School. She probably knows a thing or two about what it all means to her career and her financial picture. Nil has become a huge part of the NCAA in college sports. But now Clark is marketing her name, likeness, and image like a pro in Adidas. Well, they didn't waste any time. They swooped in, saw Caitlin's Rookie of the Year win for what it was, a game changer, and gave her the respect and cash that Nike failed to deliver. They did just toss her some basic